You've just gotten back after a very long day. You sit down with your emotional support teddy, you open your laptop, and you sigh. You're too tired. But you've got to try and push through. 2 hours later, you've done nothing meaningful, and it feels like you should have just napped instead. The mistake isn't effort, it's a misdiagnosis. There are 4 different types of tired, and each requires a different strategy. So before you study tonight, figure out exactly which kind of tired you are using my fatigue flowchart that I go through in this video, and make your study session super productive even though you're feeling tired. To check what kind of tired you are, ask yourself these 4 questions. Are your eyes heavy and your memory slow? Or can you think but starting feels impossible? Are you mentally looping about grades or the future? Or would you suddenly have energy for something more interesting? Once you've identified which one is your root issue, you can move on, figuring out how to fix it.
The fatigue map that I use to figure out exactly why I'm bad at any given point and how to fix it and still continue studying whilst not also burning myself out. And here's how you can use it too. You're going to use the diagnostic questions to figure out why. There are 4 main reasons. Type 1 is sleep-deprived fatigue. If you're biologically tired, you cannot out-discipline your nervous system. So what you want to do here is do retrieval and not new learning. This reduces your cognitive load. A short nap here is going to be much better than a caffeine overdose. Do not try and reinvent the wheel. In this state, you are going to hate studying, you're going to hate yourself, and you're not going to get anywhere either. When you're sleep deprived, your job is not progress, it's just damage control. So you're making sure you're not falling extra behind. The second type of fatigue is cognitive fatigue. This is not low energy, it's decision depletion. Your brain is overloaded, it doesn't know what to do next, and so it just shuts down. The fix for this is to pre-commit your next task. You want to use defined output goals, and you want to remove open-ended study sessions. You need to be very, very precise about what you're going to study and when you're going to finish. Single task each time. It stops your brain from feeling overloaded and from having this cognitive fatigue. You want to remove extra decisions, not effort. Type number 3 is emotional or stress fatigue. And this is, you're not really tired, you're just stressed about a lot of things because students have a lot on their plates all the time. And so the fix for this is you want to start by doing a 5-minute dump on paper. Okay, this could be, you can write down things that you're worried about, things that are stressing you out at the minute, any deadlines that you have coming up, things that you're scared of happening. Pretty much everything that's in your brain, you want to get that down on paper because the best way to relieve yourself is to write it down, in my opinion. So, you know, there's a saying that a burden shared is a burden half. This is my version of that, but on paper, because you don't want to be overloading some random person with all your stress. So here in this case, writing it all down on paper serves the same purpose, but you're just also not oversharing to study. Then, because everything is all up in your head, you need to ground yourself by physicality, essentially. So you need to move, okay? Move your body. Start off by writing all these fears, concerns, worries, deadlines coming up, everything that feels everything that feels too much and too overstimulating for you. Get that all down paper, and then you want to move around. So maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just go for a jog. My favorite way to do this is just to go out for a walk in nature. I am a bit of a nature girl, but it can be anything that you want. It can be to the gym, it can be dancing it off, I don't know. Just moving your body will help ground you and move things from your head to your body, to your heart. And then you want to start, because you still need to study, unfortunately, you want to start with a trivial task. So something that doesn't feel like a big deal, something that you can just take a couple of minutes and you can just tick it off your to-do list and you can feel like, okay, I've done something, I've made a start. And that really gets you going for the rest of it. And you also want to track the small wins, okay? So any visible micro win, you need to track this, because this makes you feel like, hey, I'm actually getting things done. I'm not just stressing, and nothing's getting done, and I'm stressing because nothing's getting done. I'm actually making progress. No matter how small, I will still count it. And this is key because clarity reduces cortisol. And in this high cortisol state, you are in fight or flight, and you don't want to be that. You need to ground yourself. You need to remove those worries and fears by using that paper. You need to start by doing some small task and then tracking, hey, I've done something. This feels great. Because clarity reduces cortisol. And last but not least, we've got type 4. Type number 4 is one that's actually very, very widespread, and that is boredom fatigue. that kind of correlates with that. Last question that I asked, if you had something more interesting to do, would you suddenly have a lot more energy? If you can scroll for an hour, you're not exhausted. You are understimulated, which is really a big problem. With things always being more interesting and more dopamine inducing than studying, you need to change the mode. Okay, change your mode of study. So, and also the type of studying that you're doing. For example, if you were just reading and answering questions, then you can take a break from that and you can try and teach it aloud pretend that you're a clown. Okay? A fun one is make it creative. So, you know the game charades? That game, but make it study. So, you need to explain this concept, but you're a clown. You need to explain this concept, but you're a cat. Whatever it might be. Make it fun, make it interesting, and make it a little difficult as well. Or you can use whiteboards if you were writing on paper, or you were typing on your computer and you're getting bored of that. Use a whiteboard or a chalkboard if you're feeling fancy. And again, I find a lot of pretending that you're doing something else is really cool. I would enjoy studying deep into the night because it just felt like oil, burning the night. It felt more exciting, more novel, and sometimes that really, really helps with boredom fatigue. So do try that out. And you also want to increase the difficulty slightly. Oftentimes when bored, it's because you're disengaged since the material is very straightforward or something that you've done many times. If you increase the difficulty slightly, like how I explained, but in a fun way as well, not just kind of jumping into some very complex work that you didn't want to do to begin with, that's not going to make it more interesting. Or more, well, it'll still make it more stimulating, but probably not what you want to do anyway. So making it something like, okay, I need to teach this aloud, I'm a clown, how would they do it? That kind of thing. It's a bit silly, it's slightly more difficult, and it's more interesting. A huge one with boredom fatigue as well is to add time pressure. And this works with a lot of my students as well. When I'm tutoring and I find that students are getting distracted, they're getting bored, I say, hey, it's the clock. Can you do this in 2 minutes? Can you do this in 5 minutes? And it's so weird and simple, but it always works. There's a competitive element that's added to your work, which makes it more stimulating. So try that one the next time that you're feeling this type of fatigue. And engagement restores your energy. If something is stimulating, it can bring back your energy if this is the type of fatigue that you are dealing with. This is a fatigue mind map, and these are all of the solutions that we have. I have no idea why it's gone up like steps. It looks like I'm climbing the stairs. Either way, I will include this somewhere in the description just so you can refer back to it. What I always find helpful as well is to print things like this out and just stick it on my wall, and I can kind of look at my wall and remind myself, hey, okay, this and this and that. And I also used to have printouts of the forgetting curve and also my timetable and things like that, of course, but various other triggers that remind me this is how I deal with that. And I just find it so helpful. This is my fatigue map. It's just a little bit different to the, hey, just drink a bunch of caffeine, just take a little nap, and you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be fine. Because the tiredness depends on the reasoning, and if you don't fix the tiredness according to the reasoning, you are going to be very constrained. If boredom fatigue is your main type of tiredness, then you're definitely going to enjoy this video that I've made all about how to make studying fun again. But check that out and see what gems I have put in that. But if type 4 fatigue is not your main type of fatigue, but you still enjoy this entire video and you watched it all the way to the end, then you're going to enjoy these videos that I've made and are tailored specifically to you. Enjoy!